Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Victoria's LA flight and Claire's unsettling discovery. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, will fly to LA and make a shocking discovery. Of course, this will be unsettling for Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, as well. What will happen to shake up everything in LA? Want more of The Young and the Restless? Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Several key players are in LA. Several of Y&R's key players are in LA right now, and more drama is certainly to come their way. Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, has found himself in an accident and is in bandages on a ventilator. Although Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, called for her mother to come to her in Boston. Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, and Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, are there as well. Claire will stop by the hospital to check in with Sharon and offer her support. Victoria is going to decide that Nick could use some support as well and make a flight to LA herself. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Victoria is worried about Kyle and makes sure he's okay. However, Victoria is growing very concerned about Claire and will make the trip to check on her daughter. Claire Newman's journey becomes concerning. Victoria is concerned about the amount of time that Claire spends in LA just as well as who she is spending time with. Victoria is certainly concerned with Holden Novak, Nathen Owens, spending so much time with her daughter. What is this? Victoria does not trust Holden, especially after talking with Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer. Victoria is about to break up their fun, which could lead to her walking in on an intimate moment in Claire's room. Holden is clearly linked to Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, who appears to be bad news. Victoria is not going to want Claire to get mixed up in any of this. However, that does not mean that Claire will listen to her mother. Holden Novak has been there for Claire Newman. Holden was the one who was there to comfort Claire when her father died. Claire is very beholden to him for this and isn't going to just turn her back on him. With Kyle there as well, Claire could decide to ramp things up a little, especially with Kyle putting in his opinion. Could this push Claire into Holden's bed? Victoria could very well catch Claire and Holden moving beyond friendship and get very upset by it. Will Victoria be the monkey wrench thrown into Claire and Holden's little fantasy trip to LA? Could Claire find herself a victim when someone related to the accident or Sienna come after Claire as she learns something she isn't supposed to know about Noah's accident? What is this? Come here for all things Y&R, check back often for The Young and the Restless news, spoilers, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Victoria's LA flight and Claire's unsettling discovery. Genoa City never rests, and neither do the Newmans. Just when it seemed Victoria Newman and her daughter Claire were beginning to find a fragile sense of peace, everything is about to be shaken once again. A sudden trip, a haunting realization, and an emotional storm on the horizon promise to send shockwaves through their already complicated relationship. According to The Young and the Restless spoilers, Victoria's unexpected flight to Los Angeles will set in motion a chain of events that leave Claire reeling, and questioning everything she thought she knew about her mother, her past, and the people she can trust. For weeks, tension has been simmering between mother and daughter. Victoria has been trying to balance her fierce need to protect Claire with her desire to give her space to grow. Yet despite her best intentions, Victoria's actions have increasingly come across as controlling and smothering. Claire, eager to carve out her independence, has grown weary of being treated like a fragile glass figurine. The more Victoria hovers, the more Claire feels trapped. Their arguments have become more frequent, filled with unspoken pain and frustration. It's this tension that sets the stage for Victoria's sudden decision to leave town. Sources suggest that Victoria's flight to Los Angeles isn't purely business-related, though she's using that as her official reason. Yes, she claims to be meeting investors about expanding Newman Media's partnerships on the West Coast, but insiders hint that there's more to her trip than she's letting on. Perhaps it's a chance for Victoria to escape the emotional strain at home, or perhaps she's chasing answers connected to Claire's mysterious past. After all, the Newmans are experts at keeping secrets, and Victoria's instincts are rarely wrong. If she suspects that something, or someone, in LA could help her understand the full extent of what Jordan did to Claire, she'll stop at nothing to uncover it. But while Victoria's absence may give her temporary relief, it leaves Claire in a precarious emotional state back in Genoa City. Without her mother's watchful eye, Claire initially feels a strange sense of freedom. She enjoys the quiet, the space to think, and the comfort of being trusted to manage her own life for once. Holden Novak notices her newfound confidence and encourages her to embrace it. For the first time in months, Claire feels like she's beginning to breathe again. But that calm doesn't last long. While organizing some of Victoria's paperwork, something she agreed to do while her mother was away, Claire stumbles upon something that changes everything. Hidden within a stack of corporate files is a small, unmarked folder containing documents that don't belong to Newman Enterprises. Inside are old emails, psychological evaluations, and personal correspondence that seem to date back to the time when Claire was under Jordan's control. The shock hits her like a thunderclap. Why would Victoria have these? How did she get them? And more importantly, why were they hidden? As Claire reads through the pages, a pattern begins to emerge: communications between doctors, caseworkers, and possibly even law enforcement that reference Claire's treatment, her mental state, and details of her recovery that she herself was never told. One letter even implies that Victoria may have been aware of certain things about Claire's captivity long before Jordan's final downfall. Could it be true? Did Victoria hide information from her own daughter, claiming to protect her while actually keeping painful truths buried? The unsettling discovery sends Claire spiraling into confusion and fear. She wants to believe there's an innocent explanation, but the longer she reads, the more it feels like her mother has been keeping secrets yet again. After everything they've been through, the forgiveness, the rebuilding, the promises of honesty, this feels like a betrayal. Holden becomes the first person Claire confides in, her hands shaking as she recounts what she found. He listens quietly, urging her not to jump to conclusions, but the doubt is already festering. Holden warns her that acting on impulse could cause irreversible damage, yet Claire can't silence the growing voice in her head whispering that Victoria doesn't trust her. Meanwhile, back in Los Angeles, Victoria is walking a tightrope of her own. She's been meeting with someone who has connections to Jordan's old network, a retired investigator who once handled cases of missing persons linked to her crimes. Victoria believes there may still be undisclosed files that could reveal whether Claire was truly Jordan's only victim, or if others remain missing. But as she digs deeper, Victoria starts to realize that reopening these wounds could come at a cost. There are whispers of forged records, cover-ups, and names that lead dangerously close to home. If the wrong person discovers what she's doing, it could put both her and Claire in danger. The irony, of course, is that while Victoria is in LA chasing truths to protect her daughter, Claire is back in Genoa City feeling betrayed and abandoned. Each woman believes she's doing what's right, yet their actions are pushing them further apart. When Victoria returns home, she'll find not the grateful daughter she left behind, but a young woman burning with questions she's no longer afraid to ask. The confrontation promises to be explosive. Claire demands to know why those files were hidden. Was Victoria working behind her back? Did she manipulate her therapy? Was she using Claire's recovery as leverage within Newman Enterprises to appear as the heroic mother? Victoria, blindsided by the accusation, insists that she only kept those records for safekeeping, that she didn't want Claire to relive the trauma by seeing them too soon. But Claire's not convinced. She feels violated, angry, and disillusioned. For her, this isn't just about secrets, it's about trust. Holden becomes caught in the middle of the storm. He understands both sides, but Claire's intensity frightens him. The more emotional she becomes, the more he fears she might spiral. Her behavior begins to echo some of the instability she fought so hard to overcome, restless nights, erratic decisions, and moments of paranoia. When she starts talking about confronting Victoria in front of the entire Newman family, Holden tries to stop her, but Claire insists that the truth deserves to be heard. The Newmans gather for what's meant to be a calm family dinner, but when Claire pulls out the folder, all calm is shattered. Victoria's face pales as she realizes what's about to happen. Victor's eyes narrow, Nikki gasps, and Nick tries to diffuse the tension, but Claire won't be silenced. In a voice trembling with hurt, she lays bare her discovery, accusing her mother of hiding the truth and treating her like a project instead of a person. The room falls silent except please subscribe and like the video before continuing. For Victoria's choked attempt to explain. She insists that she was protecting her daughter, that she never meant to deceive her, but the damage is already done. The emotional rift between them widens before everyone's eyes. For Victoria, this moment is devastating, a reminder that even her best intentions can lead to heartbreak. For Claire, it's the breaking point in her journey towards self-discovery. She's no longer content to be coddled or controlled, she wants to face her past on her own terms, even if it means cutting ties with the person she loves most. The fallout is immediate. Victoria retreats emotionally, torn between guilt and anger that Claire would confront her so publicly. Victor demands answers, furious that his daughter's secret investigation in LA could have endangered the family. Nikki, ever the voice of compassion, pleads for understanding, but the damage feels too deep. Holden tries to comfort Claire, reminding her that Victoria's actions, however misguided, stemmed from love. But Claire's not ready to forgive. The trust that took months to rebuild has been shattered in a single night. In the days that follow, both women find themselves at emotional crossroads. Victoria wonders if she's lost her daughter for good, while Claire grapples with whether she can move forward without her mother's approval. The documents she found raise even more questions, about Jordan's network, about who else might have known, and about whether there are other buried secrets waiting to be unearthed. As the story continues to unfold, one thing is certain, Victoria's LA flight has unleashed more than just business opportunities. It has reopened wounds, revealed hidden truths, and set the stage for a mother-daughter reckoning that will change the Newman family forever. In a city where lies and loyalty are constantly at war, both women must face the same haunting reality. Sometimes, the greatest betrayals come not from enemies, but from the ones we love the most. And as Claire's unsettling discovery reverberates through Genoa City, fans can't help but wonder, will this family fracture beyond repair, or will forgiveness find its way through the storm once more? Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Holden Novak has been there for Claire Newman in the glittering yet treacherous world of Genoa City, where love, loyalty, and betrayal intertwine like a never-ending melody. One connection has quietly blossomed into something both pure and complicated, Holden Novak and Claire Newman. Though their relationship began as an unexpected friendship, Holden has consistently proven himself to be the steady hand Claire desperately needed in a life marred by chaos and pain. While the Newman name carries power and privilege, it also brings an inescapable curse of emotional turmoil. And as Claire finds herself at a crossroads between her past mistakes and her uncertain future, Holden Novak's presence might be the one thing keeping her grounded. The question now is, will their bond remain platonic, or is a deeper love beginning to take shape beneath the surface? From the moment Claire returned to Genoa City after her harrowing ordeal with Jordan, she struggled to redefine who she is and what she stands for. Haunted by her past manipulation and the trauma of betrayal, Claire's emotional wounds run deep. She has tried to reconnect with her family, particularly her mother Victoria Newman, but the road to redemption hasn't been smooth. Victoria's love for her daughter is unquestionable, yet her protective instincts often manifest as control, leaving Claire feeling stifled and suffocated. Enter Holden Novak, a man whose calm demeanor and empathetic heart have quietly drawn Claire out of her shell. Their first encounter may not have been cinematic, but the emotional undercurrent between them has only deepened over time. Holden isn't dazzled by the Newman power or wealth. Instead, he sees Claire as the complex, fragile young woman she truly is, not just the daughter of a corporate powerhouse. In a town full of people with hidden agendas, Holden's sincerity is a rare gem. His support for Claire has been consistent, unwavering even when others have doubted her. When whispers about Claire's mental stability began circulating, Holden never wavered in his belief that she was capable of healing and deserving of love. He's been a constant source of reassurance, listening when she needed to vent, offering advice when she felt lost, and gently reminding her that redemption doesn't come from perfection but from perseverance. For Holden, helping Claire isn't about being her savior, it's about walking beside her as she learns to trust herself again. As Claire's self-worth grows, so does her awareness of the quiet comfort Holden provides. His ability to see beyond her past has allowed her to lower her defenses in a way she hasn't done with anyone else, not even her own family. There's a softness in the way she looks at him, a subtle smile when he enters the room, a deep exhale when she realizes he's near. It's an intimacy built not on passion, but on understanding. Yet, as with all things in Genoa City, nothing stays simple for long. The more time Holden and Claire spend together, the more others begin to take notice. Victoria, fiercely protective of her daughter, can't help but question Holden's intentions. She sees his influence on Claire and fears it might lead her down another path of heartbreak. Meanwhile, Nikki Newman, still wary of anything that could destabilize the family, wonders if Claire's emotional dependency on Holden might backfire in the long run. Despite the murmurs and doubts surrounding them, Holden's loyalty never falters. Even when confronted by Victor Newman, whose disapproval alone can send tremors through any man, Holden remains calm and respectful. He's not intimidated by the Newman patriarch, but he also knows better than to challenge him head-on. His goal isn't to prove himself to Victor but to prove to Claire that his intentions are real. That kind of quiet strength hasn't gone unnoticed. In recent weeks, Holden's name has been whispered more frequently in connection with Claire, especially after the two were spotted sharing an emotional moment at Crimson Lights. According to witnesses, Claire appeared distraught, and Holden reached for her hand, offering silent comfort. The gesture was innocent, but the emotional intensity behind it told a different story, a story of two people finding solace in each other amidst the storms of their lives. While Holden's past remains somewhat mysterious, rumors hint that he's faced his own share of pain and loss. Some speculate he came to Genoa City seeking a fresh start after a betrayal of his own. If that's true, perhaps it's precisely that shared sense of brokenness that binds him to Claire. They understand each other's scars without judgment, finding beauty in the vulnerability they both hide from the world. What makes Holden unique in Claire's life is his refusal to treat her as fragile. Unlike others who walk on eggshells around her, Holden challenges her when necessary. He encourages her to confront her fears rather than bury them. When Claire doubted her ability to work at Newman Enterprises again, Holden was the one who reminded her of her intelligence, her resilience, and her right to rebuild her life. He's not afraid to hold up a mirror, even when the reflection isn't flattering, and that honesty has only deepened her respect for him. Still, beneath the mutual admiration, a slow-burning attraction is undeniably brewing. It's in the way their eyes linger just a moment too long, in the way Holden's voice softens when he speaks to her, and in the way Claire's pulse quickens when their hands brush. Both of them sense it, yet neither is ready to act on it. Claire's still healing, and Holden seems intent on letting her move at her own pace. But if Genoa City history has taught us anything, it's that love rarely waits for perfect timing. Meanwhile, Victoria's growing unease might be setting the stage for conflict. Though she appreciates Holden's kindness, she's not sure she trusts his motives. She's seen too many men charm their way into the Newman orbit for personal gain. If Victoria begins to dig into Holden's past, secrets could surface that change everything. Perhaps Holden has something he's hiding, something he believes will jeopardize the fragile trust he's built with Claire. On the other hand, Holden might be precisely what Claire needs to break free from the controlling Newman dynamic. His independence and integrity could give her the courage to make her own choices, even if that means defying her family. The idea of Claire standing up to Victor or Victoria with Holden by her side could mark a major turning point in her evolution. There's a poetic symmetry in their relationship. Holden found peace in helping someone rediscover their self-worth, while Claire found hope in being truly seen. Together, they represent a kind of healing that transcends romance. It's about reclaiming identity and faith in oneself after trauma. Still, fans can't help but wonder, will their bond remain a friendship rooted in mutual understanding, or will it evolve into something much deeper? The emotional tension suggests the latter. And if that happens, Genoa City will have a new power couple, one defined not by business or status, but by emotional authenticity. But the road ahead won't be easy. Old wounds have a way of reopening, and the Newmans are never far from drama. If Claire's relationship with Holden threatens to pull her further from the family, expect Victor to intervene. And if Holden's past catches up with him, the very foundation of their connection could be tested. For now, though, Holden Novak's unwavering presence remains a light in Claire Newman's turbulent world. He's been there when others doubted her, when she faltered, and when she couldn't find her footing. His steady support has helped her rebuild her confidence, one moment at a time. Whatever happens next, one thing is clear, Holden has become an integral part of Claire's journey. In a world full of deceit and manipulation, his quiet loyalty shines bright. Whether destiny leads them toward friendship or romance, their story embodies something rare in Genoa City, a love built on understanding, not ambition. And as whispers grow louder, and emotions deepen, one can't help but wonder if Holden and Claire are destined to become the next great Newman love story, one forged not in power, but in healing. Claire Newman's journey becomes concerning. Claire Newman's return to Genoa City was meant to be a story of redemption, a young woman given a second chance after years of manipulation and pain. Yet as her journey unfolds, concern is mounting that Claire's emotional healing might be veering off course. What began as a hopeful path toward stability has slowly evolved into something darker, more uncertain, and deeply troubling. Claire's attempts to rebuild her life, reconnect with her family, and reclaim her identity have been riddled with setbacks, and those closest to her are beginning to worry that she's slipping into old patterns of self-doubt, isolation, and confusion. Once seen as the fragile daughter who survived Jordan's twisted grasp, Claire had started to blossom under Victoria Newman's care. But now, that fragile progress seems to be unraveling. For weeks, subtle signs have hinted that something isn't right. The bright, hopeful young woman who spoke confidently about her future has grown withdrawn. Her once clear sense of purpose appears clouded by indecision and fear. Victoria, who had been cautiously optimistic about her daughter's recovery, has begun to sense that Claire's mental state may be more fragile than anyone realized. Those familiar with the Newman family's complicated dynamic understand that love and protection can easily blur into control, and Victoria's instincts to safeguard her daughter might be doing more harm than good. From the outside, Victoria's actions look like those of a mother desperate to help, but Claire sees something different: suffocation. She's fighting to carve out her own identity beyond the confines of the Newman legacy, yet every decision seems to be overshadowed by her mother's watchful eye. The emotional toll of living under constant scrutiny is taking its toll. Behind closed doors, Claire's anxiety has resurfaced in ways she struggles to conceal. Nightmares from her past still haunt her, and moments of paranoia creep in, leaving her second-guessing even those she trusts most. Holden Novak, her closest confidant, has tried to reassure her that she's stronger than she thinks, but even he's noticed the cracks forming in her composure. Holden's steady presence has been a source of comfort for Claire, yet it also highlights how fragile her emotional balance truly is. When she's with him, she finds calm, but when he's not around, that sense of peace fades quickly. It's as though Holden has become her emotional anchor, and while that connection may seem romantic to some, others fear it signals a deeper dependency that could backfire. If Claire is tethering her self-worth to Holden's presence, it may only worsen the instability she's trying to escape. Meanwhile, whispers around Genoa City suggest that Claire's mental health struggles may not be entirely under control. Some claim to have seen her talking to herself at crimson lights, appearing distracted or lost in thought. Others have noticed her sudden mood swings, going from warm and affectionate to distant and irritable within moments. It's as though two versions of Claire exist, the poised young woman determined to prove herself and the frightened girl still haunted by Jordan's manipulation. The trauma she endured wasn't the kind one easily leaves behind. Jordan's psychological torment cut deep, warping Claire's sense of self-worth and trust. And though therapy and family support have helped, there are wounds that time alone cannot heal. In some ways, Claire is still battling Jordan's shadow, constantly questioning whether she deserves happiness, constantly fearing she'll revert to the person she once was. Victoria's efforts to reintroduce Claire into the Newman fold have also added pressure. Working at Newman Enterprises was supposed to empower her, but instead, it's become another reminder of the expectations she can't seem to meet. Being surrounded by power players like Victor, Nick, and Nikki has made her feel small, like a fragile outsider in a family that thrives on dominance. She wants to belong, yet she can't shake the feeling that she's being silently judged. Even Nikki, though softened by grandmotherly affection, keeps a cautious distance. The tension between empathy and suspicion in the Newman clan has created an environment where Claire never truly feels safe. It's no wonder she's beginning to crumble under the weight of it all. Holden, for his part, sees the warning signs but feels helpless to intervene. He knows that pushing too hard could alienate her, yet doing nothing might allow her to spiral further. Their once easy companionship has taken on a heavier tone, with moments of intimacy shadowed by Claire's inner turmoil. There are times when Holden catches her staring off into space, lost in thought, her expression distant and unreadable. When he asks what's wrong, she brushes it off, forcing a smile that never reaches her eyes. The truth is, Claire is scared of losing control, scared of disappointing her family, scared that the darkness within her might resurface. Despite her best efforts to appear composed, cracks are forming in the carefully constructed facade she's built. There are whispers of sleepless nights, forgotten appointments, and moments of agitation that hint at deeper struggles. Some fear that Claire might be on the brink of another breakdown, especially as the pressures of her environment intensify. And with Victoria's increasingly overbearing behavior, the emotional tension in the Newman household is near breaking point. Victoria's insistence that she knows what's best for Claire is beginning to backfire. Every time Victoria tries to guide her daughter, Claire feels more trapped. Their conversations often end in tears or silence, both women walking away frustrated and misunderstood. Victor, too, has started to weigh in, expressing quiet concern that Claire may not be ready for the demands of Newman Enterprises. But Victor's brand of concern is rooted in control, and his subtle interference only feeds Claire's growing resentment. For a young woman trying to reclaim autonomy, having her life dictated by others, even out of love, feels suffocating. It's no surprise that she's begun seeking solace outside the Newman mansion, spending more time alone or confiding in Holden instead of her family. There's a heartbreaking irony to Claire's struggle. She wants to prove she's capable, but the harder she tries, the more people question her stability. Every misstep becomes ammunition for those who doubt her, and every show of strength is met with patronizing reassurance. In a world that refuses to let her forget her past, Claire can't seem to find a way to define her future. Her growing dependency on Holden, while emotionally understandable, might soon create tension between him and Victoria. If Victoria believes Holden is enabling Claire's instability, or worse, influencing her decisions, she won't hesitate to intervene. And Victor, ever the protector of the Newman dynasty, may take drastic measures to ensure no one threatens the family's image, even if that means pushing Holden out of Claire's life. Such interference could have devastating consequences. If Claire feels abandoned or misunderstood yet again, the fragile progress she's made could shatter completely. Holden's absence could trigger the very breakdown everyone fears. And should that happen, Genoa City will once again witness the tragic unraveling of a young woman who has fought so hard to overcome her past. Yet amid the growing concern, there remains a glimmer of hope. Claire has shown resilience before, and deep down, she's still fighting. She doesn't want to be defined by her trauma or her family's reputation. She wants to prove she can stand on her own, make her own choices, and build a life free from manipulation. But before she can move forward, she must confront the internal battle raging within her, the part of herself still haunted by Jordan's voice, still questioning her worth, still fearing the worst. Whether she finds the strength to do that will determine her future. Will she lean into the support of those who genuinely care, like Holden? Or will she retreat into isolation, allowing her fears to consume her once more? One thing is certain, Claire Newman's journey has reached a critical turning point. Her family watches anxiously, her friends tread carefully, and the town whispers with speculation. Everyone can sense that something is building beneath the surface, a storm waiting to break. Claire has survived manipulation, imprisonment, and trauma. But now, she faces her greatest test yet, surviving herself. The road ahead is uncertain, and unless she finds a way to balance love, independence, and trust, the redemption story that once inspired hope may turn into a tragedy no one saw coming. Genoa City has seen many rise and fall, but Claire's story cuts deeper because it's not about greed or revenge, it's about a young woman's struggle to heal in a world that refuses to let her forget who she used to be. And as her journey grows increasingly concerning, one can only hope that someone, perhaps Holden, will be able to reach her before it's too late.